Harry Kane told Tottenham yesterday that he wishes to leave the club in the summer. This is a huge story and one that we have been preempting for a while, Ali McCoist. Not you and I, the whole of the world of football pretty much. So the fact that he's now told Spurs that he wants to leave, for me really signals lots of people saying, actually, you know what, he might not go, he might this, might that. I agree with Jason Cundy, actually. I was listening to him a bit last night and he was saying he doesn't actually think Harry Kane would have said this unless he already has something in mind or something almost agreed. And I kind of think he's probably right there. What do you think, Ali?
Yeah, I think that'll be the case. I agreed with Jason on a lot of counts there. I don't think MD could grudge him a move, would you? I really don't. I think the way he's conducted himself from start to finish at that football club, Spurs, has been immense. Clearly, I think everybody would know that if Spurs were winning trophies, he would probably stay there for the rest of his life. And I think he has honoured, his contracts with Spurs, and Spurs have done the same with Harry Kane. But I just feel that Harry Kane now has decided that the best opportunity for him to start winning things will be somewhere else. And you know something? He's right. He is right. If he goes to Manchester City, a Manchester United, a Chelsea, or a Barcelona, or Real, wherever it may be, you've got to be truthful and say he will have a better chance of picking up team trophies, whether it's cups and leagues. And that's all he wants to do, and nobody could begrudge him that.
No, I totally agree with you. He's 28 this summer. His contract actually runs until 2024. But there was something that I also heard about the idea of this gentleman's agreement that he perhaps had with Daniel Levy, where if they're not winning things, and he kind of has not a blessing to leave, but an out, I suppose, of Spurs. Now, reports in the paper are saying Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United all interested in signing him. Daniel Levy's put a price tag of 150 million on his head. Yep. Whether or not that means he can go somewhere for that price tag in the current climate, because it's a lot of money in COVID times, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even not in COVID times, it's a lot of money. Probably no less than he is worth, though, Ali. So if you were to pick one now there, which one could you see him going to more likely?
I've said all along Manchester United. I have. But they've signed Cavani in another year, and I don't know. It's funny. I'm not sure Manchester United's priorities are a centre forward. I still think, they're a sidekick for Harry Maguire, or perhaps a Declan Rice in the middle of the park type. But I can't see him been centre forward for Manchester United. He would just fit the bill perfectly, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether the re-signing of Cavani would put paid to that, and the fact that maybe Solskjaer thinks they need to strengthen in other areas. Manchester City clearly need a goal scorer, which is a kind of strange thing to say when they're playing with false number 9s and they're winning every game. But I still think in his squad he could do with an out-and-out goal scorer. I think Harry Kane could. I think he's good enough to play in that team. I think he would score all sorts of goals. Clearly Chelsea as well. In terms of the foreign market, well, you've only got maybe a couple of clubs that could potentially afford them. But I'm reading reports as well this morning, Laura, that he would prefer staying in the Premiership.
Yep, so apparently wants to stay in the Premiership, and also Premier League wants to potentially go to City. That might be his favoured option if you have a look at reports this morning, Ali.
Well, he could play there. I mean, make no mistake about it, we've seen him drop off, play short, get involved in link-up play. He could play there. He could take the ball in that City team and look the part, get involved in them, get involved in their possession, their passing, everything. Not a problem. It's whether Guardiola fancies him and thinks it'd be a good fit for his team.
Daniel Levy has a scheduled meeting with the Tottenham Supporters Trust today, which I imagine the timing couldn't be worse on that one, could it?
No.
They're going to want answers on this, and they're going to. I mean, if they lose Harry Kane, he's so irreplaceable in so many ways, isn't he? For that particular team, Ali.
Oh, massive. See, the other thing about City as well, Laura, Guardiola has always, listen, of course they've spent big. They have. You think they play, they spent 60 odd million for Ruben Diaz, and they spent 40 for Nathan Ake and all these guys, and it is a lot of money. But he's always kind of said that he won't be held to ransom and pay hundreds of millions of pounds for players. So I think there's an element of Guardiola will still feel like that. So I don't know what the gentleman's agreement maybe that Harry Kane has with Daniel Levy, but you can totally understand if Spurs, who will be clearly reluctant to sell him, they'll want top dollar for him, and you wouldn't want to sell him to one of your rivals. But they've done it before.
Yeah, they have. They've done it a few times before, actually. City's record signing is 64 million for Ruben Diaz, so a jump up to 150 would be a lot. They kind of do this, don't they? They're kind of bunches of 60 million signings and that sort of stuff, but not often a one-off for like 150.
That's my point. It really is a jump. Like you're another double ahead on top of that, And you mentioned this day and age, you're right. 150 million. I mean, we're talking. That is, and it's not a lot. You won't get him back. If Harry signs a 5-year contract there, at 33, you're not going to get 48 million, 58 million back. So.
But you might get a lot more trophies, potentially. Now, interestingly, I was watching Sky Sports News last night and this morning as well. Jamie O'Hara is plastered across all the screens.
What's she giving it now?
Wow, you can imagine this is Jamie O'Hara territory, isn't it?
Do you know what we've done? We've helped, you and I solely have helped shoot that man to international stardom.
Yeah, they're like, wait, he's on with Laura and Ali. Book him.
We have shot him to international stardom.
They must have heard him take part in the quiz yesterday and thought, who is that intellectual mind? Get him on.
Very good. So what?
Because I'm thick.
Brilliant.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.